This week on Another Brother.
What's PhenomeCon, you ask? It's a gathering for weirdos.
But not just any weirdos. Weirdos that specialize in aliens.
Bigfoot.
And ghosts.
Mostly. I think that covers
I think
all
those
of
are
it.
the three
Yeah, pretty much.
main food groups.
I don't know how to talk to people for enjoyment or entertainment.
Well, that's good, because I don't know how to do that even in a professional setting. So,
Well, I guess my point is, okay, so not a point. I'm not coming to a point here. I am not an expert.
what's your
There's
question?
no conclusion here. This is not a totally solved mystery
Holy crap.
segment. Who would have thought three Oregon boys would find themselves driving in a Subaru down I-80?
To learn about Bigfoot?
Talking about
I mean,
Bigfoot. Well,
doesn't sound
Bigfoot,
too out of line for
that
Oregonians.
tracks. Subaru tracks. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that all
it's checking
tracks.
all the boxes.
Brother over here, brother over there, brother everywhere. Another brother.
Quick editor's note. You'll find out later why the audio is an issue in this episode, but I tried really hard to clean it up. It's pretty gross in some places. I apologize. I've done my best. I hope it's not too distracting and makes you want to rip your ears off. If so, you can blame me for being too lazy to work harder on it. But regardless, I hope you enjoy this very special episode of Another Brother.
Okay, well,
I might try and see
Someone
how it
start
works
us
out.
off.
And we're back.
so
We're getting back.
We're on our way back, yeah. Where were we, brothers?
on the road again.
We're halfway between Duchesne and Roosevelt, maybe? Is that the right direction? We're past Roosevelt.
No, we're heading
Yeah,
towards
we're past.
We're
both.
Heber
close
City.
to Heber.
Yeah, Heber City,
In the direction that way.
going west. I'm real good at directions.
We're leaving Vernal.
Yeah, we were
Utah.
just in Vernal, Utah for...
PhenomeCon 2024.
We did not see buttons. We'll just get that one out of the way now.
That was unfortunate.
Bummer. He
How
would have
feeling
been
he wasn't
flocked
there.
by adoring fans, though.
What's
Yeah.
PhenomeCon, you ask? It's a gathering for weirdos.
But not just any weirdos. Weirdos that specialize in aliens.
Bigfoot.
And ghosts.
Mostly. I think that covers
I think
all
those
of
are
it.
the three
Yeah, pretty
Main-
much.
main food groups.
So every year, once a year in Vernal, Utah, they hold the PhenomeCon convention. It's always the same week each year. And I think this was the fourth year, they said.
I think so.
I didn't hear.
This
I
is
don't
the
know.
fourth year.
Yeah.
Likely due in large part to Skinwalker Ranch being half an hour down the road from
Yep.
Vernal.
No doubt.
And just all the attention that the TV show has brought.
It seems like their panel today was the fullest, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe not,
the
but
room,
It seemed like
the
it.
ballroom,
Yeah,
definitely.
right.
Yeah, there were a ton of people standing in the back.
Right, yeah,
That parking lot, that's the fullest.
for
the-
sure.
Yes,
True.
that
Good
too.
point. Good point.
So it's held at the Vernal, at the convention center.
You went to
hall.
county center.
Yeah, so we were parked in a dirt lot behind the building.
Gravel. It wasn't just dirt. There was gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we came up for 2 days. We were here Friday and Saturday. We're a little bummed. We missed George Knapp.
Yeah.
If you don't know George Knapp, just do a quick Google. Knapp. He's a journalist.
Big in the UAP community.
He's the first
Yeah.
one to cover the no.
Wait, he's not that old.
He's not that old, people.
Sorry, George.
So yeah, if you don't know him, you're probably familiar with some of his journalistic work, even though you don't know it. But even worse, we're missing the band Hitchhiker playing tonight.
I don't know if that's worse,
Hitchhiker-
but it's bad.
Okay, yeah, that's maybe a disservice to George. Travis Taylor, Dr. Travis Taylor. Doctor, I believe, Travis Taylor.
Doctor, Master.
is the lead singer. So now you've been with us long enough. Travis Taylor's one of the lead researchers at Skinwalker Ranch. He's in this band with Jay Stratton, and yeah, it's their first time playing
For a
a
live,
live
group, yeah.
concert.
Yeah, they prepared a 2-hour set. And then I think they made some jokes because Travis was late to his Friday evening panel event or
Yeah.
one-on-one. I think he said that he would go an additional hour and a half. I don't know.
Yeah.
But great week. We unfortunately only made it to Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday, to give you an idea of what we sat through.
Oh, sorry, one sec.
Oh, go.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Josh. I just realized for those of you listening right now, you don't know what's happening. We're in the car. We're
good point.
literally driving home right
This
now.
might be a noisy episode. I'm going to do my best to minimize that. But
We've got
we're
a
driving.
camera going. We're trying and hoping to get a full video capture of this. So check in on our YouTube page. Search @AnotherBrotherPod. No spaces. Again, @ Another Brother Pod.
Yep.
Check out the video of this episode.
If we die and this is the last
no.
episode, it's Jacob driving.
Well, this isn't even
Jacob
going to
has-
make it.
Jacob
This
has
won't
a
be an episode.
microphone in his face. Alex is kind of stabilizing the arm on the tripod here.
Yeah, I've got a tripod between my knees in the passenger seat,
And the
reaching all the way over to
sunlight.
Jacob.
The sunlight is just full on in
It's
our
harsh.
faces.
Yep.
So we're headed west, due west,
Oh, that's better.
straight into the sun, which seems to be at least 50% of the time when you're driving in Utah.
Yeah, what the
you're
frick?
Yeah, I don't
facing
know
the
how.
sun.
Check out the Bigfoot cap. I'm Team Bigfoot.
Yeah, you definitely can't see that in the camera, I would guess.
Dang it.
But it also matches his socks, which you could also not see.
Definitely can't see those.
We should get more cameras in here. We'll
I've
have the
got my
camera-
other GoPro.
We'll have the hat view, the sock view.
I have a hat clip. Well, it's not fair to call a hat clip. But it is a clip.
Oh, for a GoPro?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, I interrupted Josh.
So we drove in. Alex and Jacob drove in Thursday night.
Yeah.
Myself and my family, we drove in Thursday morning, which I would not recommend.
Did you say Thursday morning? Friday morning? Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Yeah, Friday morning.
Yeah, Friday morning. It was rough. And then going into the convention after that. But yeah, so Friday we left our Airbnb in not Vernal, it was in Naples technically.
Naples.
Oh, is that the name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did not know
And drove the 20 minutes down to the convention.
Yeah.
And the first panel we saw Friday was Travis Taylor, Nick Pope, William Henry, and there's a fourth. Who's the fourth guy?
Well, wasn't Jay
Did you say
yeah,
Ben?
with them?
No, not. Oh, it was Ben.
Yeah.
No, he was in the
No,
next
you're
one.
right. Dang it.
Was it Jay?
No, he was part of the paranormal panel.
I thought Jay was with them.
Yeah, Jay was with them. Yeah,
Well-
Jay was with them.
We'll go with that.
Jay Stratton.
Then in the afternoon, we listened to Eric Bard. He did a 1 hour and a half just to himself.
That was good.
That
It's
one was
always
really
good to
Again,
hear the
Eric
They were all
Bard
good.
is the chief investigator at Skinwalker Ranch.
I think the title is principal investigator.
Principal.
And
Thank you.
I think some people take it really seriously what people's actual titles are. So if we mess something up, it's because we're amateurs and we like what everyone's doing. We just don't have enough time to learn everything.
Do a full
down to
deep
the T.
dive.
But I think Eric is the principal investigator.
I think that sounds right.
Oh, on that first panel, Nick Pope, he worked for the UK Ministry of Defense for 20 years? Is that right?
21 years. Yeah.
Has he told you who he worked for? He's always saying.
And
who he
that's a
worked for and how
joke
long.
from Ancient Aliens, I believe.
Yeah, I
He
think
appears
so.
on that show, which one of the other panelists, what was his name?
William Henry.
Thank you. He's the producer, is that correct? Of Ancient Alien.
I'm not sure.
I think so.
So
It was,
that's what
Yeah.
they talked about. They talked about Ancient Aliens and ancient astronaut theory and all that kind of stuff.
I haven't watched the show since that one guy, I don't even know his name, became famous for. I'm not
Giorgio?
saying it's aliens.
Yeah,
but,
Giorgio.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since back in those days.
Yeah.
So apparently Travis is on that show now too.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Anyway, sorry, Josh, continue on.
And the last event we went to Friday evening was actually Dr. Travis Taylor. Did an hour and a half. Well, he was scheduled for an hour and a half.
Did you skip this
Wait a
morning?
minute. Yeah, there's the paranormal panel as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 to 4:30 we did the paranormal panel. That was with Aaron Sagers, David Schrader, Richard Estep.
Estep.
So these
And-
are all
and
guys
Ben
who have
Hansen.
had various podcasts and or TV shows
Different
about
backgrounds
yeah,
too, for sure.
yeah, that too, definitely. So it was interesting.
Yeah. And then we closed the day out with Travis Taylor's one-on-one on Friday.
Did we mention
That
the
he was
Expedition Bigfoot?
that was
that
Saturday.
was today.
Yep.
Yeah, so then today
Got confused.
today what we had time to see was the Expedition Bigfoot discussion from Russell Acord and Maria Mayer, Dr. Maria
Awesome.
Mayer. And then we got to see most of the Skinwalker Ranch panel this
Yeah.
afternoon before we went and did our own experience
Oh yeah.
with the ranch via a UTV tour.
We went to the Mesa, everybody.
Yeah. There's a campground out northwest of the ranch, and they either own or share with neighbors who own most of the top of that mesa. And they do those little UTV tours, take you in there, 6-ish person ride side. What's it called? Side ride.
The UTV, huh?
Yeah, what are they called? Some of them.
Oh, side by side? What are you saying?
So tired. Yeah, side by side. That's the word. Yeah, they had a 6-person side by side, and that was
That-
fun.
Yeah, it's called the UFO Valley Campground.
Yeah, thank you.
Really cool. I have a friend and coworker that this is his second year at PhenomeCon and also camping at that campground. They have a trailer, and they did the UTV tour last year and told us about it, and so we got on and got to do that tour today. Apparently, PhenomeCon is the busiest time of year for them to give tours because of that mesa overlook they get.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it was a blast.
That was fantastic, though. Jody, I believe, was her name.
Yeah.
She and her husband, who own that property and live on the land, and she's the one who took us out on the tour.
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
She was really fun and nice.
Really fun. Yeah, great personality. She had a lot of awesome insights and personal stories and the type of history and kind of stuff you wouldn't hear anywhere else.
Yeah, just the local knowledge from
Yeah.
having her and her husband and just family having grown up right there and in that area for a long time. So that was fun. Yeah, you get from Jody, you definitely get that small town feel,
Yeah.
where everybody knows everybody and what is that? Oh, we got a deer in the road. Oh no,
No, that was, I don't even know what that
tarp
was.
maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Just to remind everyone that we are driving home.
Actively currently driving. Yeah, it was fun. Got to see Homestead 2 with our own eyeballs.
The triangle.
Triangle. I did not see a blob, unfortunately.
No.
The command center.
Uh-huh.
The quote unquote stone swirl. What was
Spiral.
spiral? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
spiral. That's the word.
Which is actually,
Went all
again,
the way out there.
that's on their property.
Yeah, it's not.
Brandon
on.
Fugel doesn't own it. It's not on Skinwalker Ranch. And so they've actually roped it off so that the crew can't
Yeah,
get to it and film there anymore.
Yeah,
but we got to be up in it.
Yep.
Really got to be in there.
Just like the crew was.
and
Yeah.
apparently lots of local kids for generations
Right.
who used
Yeah.
to go up there and go hunting and just playing around up on top of the mesa. Really, really, really neat experience. I think there's probably a number of sensitivities between the owners of the various parts of land.
It's so patchworked together in weird ways
Yeah.
that the property lines are weird.
Yeah, I wish we had a picture of the aerial map she showed us of the different property owners. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Because it includes, the Ute tribe as well. They've got land surrounding the ranch and
Right.
multiple families who've been there for generations.
Yeah. So there's clearly there's been some interesting growing pains and points between the
Neighbors.
operations on the ranch and
Yeah.
the owners of the mesa, if you can, or at least that land.
Right.
But super cool that we were able to get out there and just ride along the top of the mesa and see all these points of interest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that was all we really saw was the points of interest.
All right, so
We did our best, though, as far
Did
as like
try.
our own personal testing and data collection. We did what we could.
I had the compass on my phone out, trying to see if there were any fluctuations in the magnetic field. There was nothing happening.
my GPS tracks were solid the whole time. Unfortunately,
Didn't feel any weird feelings or
Yeah, no woozy, no
See
swimmy
anything.
head,
no
swimmy
swimming.
head.
no metallic taste,
No,
nothing. But it was
No
still really
orbs.
cool.
it was cool.
Yeah,
though.
no orbs, no dire wolves.
Just some of those cameras on the masts that they've got around.
Yeah, so I think that was the most, maybe not interesting, but it's a normal plot of land, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
any other part of the state that you could go backpacking on or walking through or
Ranch on. Oh, sorry, the
just-
mesa.
yeah, but
Yeah.
just totally normal.
Yeah.
But clearly not. But so it's like it's obviously not maybe normal, and that's accentuated by the fact that they're installing all these new technologies on the ranch, and you can see the footprint, and you can hear and learn about the science and experimentation going on the ranch, and you hear the stories from decades of people documenting their experience there, and then you can go right there. You can see all of these things we've been accustomed to seeing on the TV show, maybe, and it just feels like any other patch of Utah.
Yeah.
So that was, I was hoping to get some prickly hair going.
Yeah. I mean, I think Homestead 2 is kind of a creepy looking, like, little grove of trees with rundown buildings in the middle. There's something creepy about that imagery just by itself. But I mean, looking at it, I felt no heebie-jeebies at all, and I was sad.
Yeah, I will say, once all the science is eked out of this property, don't take me literally, people. My gosh, but once the science is done, whew, that property is going to be worth money just for like the
Tourism.
Halloween.
Yeah.
The Halloween crowd. just bring people out as like a haunted ranch.
Actually, today on Google Maps I found just north, maybe a little north west. There's a haunted forest attraction that someone does out there. It's out in the open on the land. So it feels like someone's already trying to capitalize on it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah,
Sure.
I say that mostly joking because I know that it's a serious topic.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sensitivities due to culture and cultural perspectives and perhaps religious perspectives and just history. So I'm Josh. I'm the red one, the red steward.
Huh. Yeah.
You should never take what I say seriously.
Yes, this is a perfect time to make sure people know which one of us is which. I'm Alex, halfway through the episode.
I'm Jacob, and everything I say is serious.
Always.
Huh?
Always.
Always.
While we were out at the Stone Spiral, or Rock Stone Spiral, Rock Spiral, what do they call it? Whatever. While we were out at the Spiral, which is I think the weirdest thing that happened there was probably it was a part of season 3, I think, where they were looking into acoustic phenomena and like responses from the ranch due to like specific sounds. And they had a group of Native American drummers that couldn't go up to the spiral because it's not part of the land that the ranch owns, but they were down just below. We were able to see the spot where they were. They were, I don't know, 30 yards away, maybe 30-ish yards, 40,
I think even more.
50. Well,
Yeah.
It felt like a
Anyway.
stone throw away, not like terribly far. You probably couldn't throw a stone 50 yards. Anyway, they did some kind of a song that had. It was essentially them drumming together a steady pulse, if I remember correctly. Just a steady beat, all 6 or so of them drumming together, and there was a chant, a song of some kind that went with that drumming. And they had infrared cameras pointed at the stone spiral. Is that right?
Yeah, Fleur from some location looking at it.
Right. And as they were playing, they reacted thermally, I guess is what that would be telling us, is that they were like heating up, I believe, was the direction they were moving in the spectrum. Was
I thought
they
it
were
was
getting hotter?
opposite. I thought they
They were
got
cooler?
dark.
Oh,
No,
Either
no,
way.
the purples and blues were cold.
right. Yeah, and
The
they were
reds
getting
and
brighter
yellows are
to
hot.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So that was interesting. And yeah, that was a spot that we got to go out to and be in and see. And while we were just about to leave, Jody saw something on the ground and stopped and pointed it out to all of us. And it was just this little, I don't know, stripe in the ground that looked silvery and shiny. And I picked up a piece of it, and it was very glittery. I have it here. It was super shiny. And
You can hold
As-
it up for the camera.
I don't know how well that's going to show, but it's just this little
Pretty
pebble.
small.
There wasn't a lot of it. I would say it was maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, and maybe 1/4 of an inch wide or so. And I just picked up this piece out of it. And as soon as I left the like the boundary of the spiral, it stopped being glittery,
What?
Oh yeah, let me see it now.
and it looks pretty dull now. What the crap?
What?
And I don't know why. That's pretty weird. It looked like it was almost like something that was made of pure but very rough and jagged and pocked silver. So it kind of had a glitteriness to it because it was like a rough texture.
All right.
Maybe you just like rubbed the silver off.
In your pocket? No.
I don't know. Maybe.
Uh,
I mean, it looked like it was solid. Like I was
what
rubbing.
the heck? It looks completely different.
Well, we
yeah,
were
it's
still-
like totally dull
yeah.
now.
What?
It looked like it was covered in the kind of red dust that was just ubiquitous out there. And so I was like rubbing the dust off while I was inside the spiral, and it was getting shinier and sparklier. And then as soon as we stepped outside, it just became dull. Like I wasn't rubbing it anymore. It just stopped being glittery, and
Weird.
now it's even duller than before. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Maybe it is just that the shiny stuff was a specific light material that was like a coating on it, but this came from like the middle of a stripe. I don't know. Just kind of strange. I can't say that I can put any real belief into this as a truly weird thing, but it's kind of weird to me. Anyway, I don't know. That's the weirdest thing that I saw today, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I don't think I witnessed or observed anything too strange. More of a cool sightseeing
Right.
trip for me.
That was cool. Like seeing these people and places that I've seen on TV, and like, holy crap, you're not just an image on the TV. You really are a real life and blood, flesh and blood human being, and there you are, right in front of me. Weird.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about PhenomeCon, the convention?
It was not what I was expecting, personally.
I've never been to a fan type convention before, like a non-professional convention. And by that, I mean, in my mind, a professional convention is one where you're there with specific jobs or work roles in mind, and you know, you're obviously there to get things done related to your line of work. I would call this more of a fan type convention where
Definitely was.
yes, you have professionals present in the crowd and also obviously speaking, but a lot of the group is there just to kind of meet meet the people that they've been seeing or listening to for a while now and just say hi and hear them talk.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Not having been to like a Comic-Con or anything like that. It was good. It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up what I thought and felt as well.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to expect. I did have certain expectations. I thought the presenters would be discussing more of like actual investigations or explorations or
Breaking them down with data, imagery,
evidence, things like that they have found over their careers. Not necessarily recent stuff, but just over their careers. But yeah, it felt like what I said to the bros, felt like a fan service.
Right.
Where it's more of a making a connection with the fans and the fans making a connection with you, because they would like hang around, right? Most of the presenters were in the center for the whole day.
Yeah.
Some were maybe selling books, things like that, and so you could just go up and chat with them. So that was cool. I got a children's book from Dr. Mayor. She signed it for my kids too, which was really cool. But yeah, I think if we go back, expectations will be
different.
Set this time, and I think that will actually help me get more enjoyment out of it.
Right.
Yeah, just like I'm not. I can quote socialize in a professional setting. I'm not great at socializing outside of that. Like I'm not. I don't know how to talk to people for enjoyment or entertainment.
Well, that's good because I don't know how to do that even in a professional setting.
So yeah, when I see one of these people that I respect and know somewhat about their academic past or professional past or something, what I want to do is, to the extent that I can, I want to get them to talk about common like a common background type experience or context. But I don't think that's what they're there for. I think, like Jacob was saying, the intent is more to like connect with fans and maybe show, because like these made for TV shows probably do every single one of these individuals a disservice in terms of not really painting them as a character, as a TV character. Yeah, they'll paint them as themselves. They'll assign a TV character persona.
Makes it hard to believe that the already fringe science that they're doing is any kind of serious.
Yeah, and so it is nice then in a setting like PhenomeCon to see them as a person and see their full personality.
Yeah.
Or at least more of their personality.
More of it, maybe. Yeah.
And get a sense for the person behind the character, the TV persona.
And sometimes even actual true personal motives or outlooks and personal methodologies, how they feel about their subject, how they approach the subject matter itself, things like that. Because like there were moments where the presenters did kind of get into experiences and things like that. There were Q&A periods. Like, so for me, when our Bigfoot presenters were going, someone asked the question, something about, oh, that's what it was. Like, I know I've seen Bigfoot, and I've interviewed hundreds of people who know they've seen Bigfoot. Oh, how exactly did he ask it? Will you?
If I tell you, because of these reasons, I know Bigfoot is real,
There we go.
will you believe me?
Yes. Yeah. And Russ's response was something to the, well, he said it pretty pointedly.
Yeah. No.
I can't. Until I have seen Bigfoot with my own eyes and I have irrefutable proof or evidence, only then can I know that Bigfoot exists. And I really appreciated that, because as much as I love all this kind of stuff, I'm definitely absolutely a skeptic at heart. And I don't genuinely believe Bigfoot's real, because, yeah, I need that.
Right.
That true evidence.
You just want it to be real.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's essentially what he said too.
Right.
And like, sometimes I watch these shows, not necessarily specifically when I watch him, but there are some Bigfoot investigators out there who I think, man, these guys are probably just, they've never even had a actual sighting themselves, but they are 100% in and convinced. Anyway, I was just happy to hear like these people actually have perspective, and they are skeptics, and they need empirical nice empirical evidence. Like, they need it proved to them as well.
Yeah.
And that's why they're actually going out and doing it, because they do want it to be real, but they want to prove it empirically. So that was cool.
I would like to compare that to something that Travis said in the Skinwalker Ranch panel from today. I can't remember what question this was in response to. He essentially said, you know, people will go from believing or wanting to believing to having seen something,
Experiencing.
and now they're an experiencer. And he would call all of them at the ranch not experiencers, but knowers, because they've been living on the ranch. They've seen too many things, experienced too many things. They know that the phenomenon is real. That's what he said. We know that this is real. There's something weird is going on here. It's real. But he never went so far as to say we know what that is. Of
Right.
course.
Yeah.
Which goes back to another thing Travis had said.
Yeah.
Remember that story when he said he went back to the ranch? He was by himself, and I think he had to walk the half mile.
Oh, yeah, right.
So he had to walk
Yeah.
to the command center,
Right.
or to his trailer,
trailer, yeah.
wherever he was going.
It's pretty close to the command
And it's
center,
like, it's dark, right? It's nighttime. He's alone. He's walking through like the wooded, forested area, and all the times that he's been like, "Come on, come on,
Right.
aliens, come get me, beam me up."
Show
you
me
know.
you're real.
Yeah, do your worst. And then in that moment, as he's walking to his trailer by himself, he's having that oh crap moment. Well, if it were like this is the
moment.
perfect time for that to happen. And then
This could be the moment.
yeah, maybe getting that, I don't know if he said fear or anxiety or something, but then having that like gut check moment, like, well, am I on board or not?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
I wrote it down, but I can't read my handwriting because that's how it goes. But yeah, I think he said roller coaster. He said
Oh, yeah.
you have to decide whether to get on the roller coaster or
Yes.
just get off.
Yeah, wasn't this part of his speech about growing up?
Yeah.
I can't remember what he was saying about growing up. What? Who was
Well,
he saying it to?
No,
it was
that was a
requiring-
different.
It was different?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was the same. But
No,
that
he
one
was-
was
yeah,
the
that-
government
Yes. And
hand feeding you
yes.
the information,
Rather
like
than-
proving to you that this stuff is real.
Right.
People grow up and do your own research and find
Right,
it out for
right.
yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, you create the environment in which the truth is able to come out, sort of a thing.
Okay, so on this moment, did you guys have any like highlights or like favorite things that you learned, an anecdote that you hadn't heard before, something like that?
Ooh.
That's hard for me because I purposefully did not catch up on Skinwalker Ranch episodes so that I didn't have.
Well, so I mean across the whole
The whole
convention.
I know, but
Okay.
like, so
You're
I
going to
heard
focus on
lots of,
Skinwalker.
I know,
Yeah,
but
okay.
they said so many things about season 5 that I hadn't heard yet
Right.
because I
Yeah.
didn't watch the season. So there was a lot of that, like green goo. What the crap is coming out of that thing?
Well, I think the one thing that finally clicked, because I think in the show they talked about drilling into the mesa. So I guess pause. My convention highlights are going to be Skinwalker Ranch related too.
Yeah.
So I don't think the show really drove it home or maybe painted the full context for me when I was watching it, at least.
Mhm.
When they're drilling into the mesa and they came to that impenetrable spot,
right? Yeah,
and they're drilling
Yes,
and drilling, and they're
thank
putting
you.
8,000 pounds of force, not pressure, but 8,000 pounds of force into the drill bit head, and it's not moving. But then the temperature reader is saying that it's cold, but they're rotating this drill bit. So clearly, I mean, logically and from experience, it would seem the drill operators say, well, great, our shaft is spinning, but the drill bit must have broken a shaft somewhere
Yeah,
because
if it says it's cold, then
clearly it's not
the
rotating.
end is broken off.
Yeah.
The sensor's no longer attached.
And then they pull the drill bit out, and instead it's like a pristine bit still attached.
Not all
And-
chewed up, not broken off,
Yeah,
not melted from friction and heat.
right. And so I don't remember the show going into the temperature piece
Me neither.
and the fact that it actually got colder as it was spinning.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Which
was
is
all of that
wild.
just season 5? Because they drilled
No,
in season
no.
4 too.
That's like earlier. That's season 2 or 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, whichever it was. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so was it Travis that talked about this?
Postulated what the cause was.
I think he and Eric were both kind of chiming in a little bit, but yeah, I think it was
Because
mostly
then
Travis.
you would have to assume if that full chain is still connected and they're applying 8,000 pounds of force and that drill bit is spinning, but it's not getting hot, then it must be working up against something. But for it to not to move forward, it must be impenetrable, and for it to not to get hot, it must be frictionless. Otherwise, you would see temperature gains through friction,
Mm-hmm.
as Travis was saying. That kind of like, oh, that's the take home from that moment in that episode. Because I think later on in some of Travis's talking head moments on the show,
Mm-hmm.
I think he refers to it as or some people refer to it as having this thing in the mesa having a force field,
force field.
or frictionless or something. But it was never really tied together, I don't think.
Not particularly well. Prometheus, you could do better with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because that one was such a great aha moment.
Sorry.
Like, what is going on?
Well, first I
Hang
thought
on, just let me say real quick. When I say Prometheus is the production company that produces the show.
Yes.
Sorry.
yeah. And the other point in conjunction with that, when they would touch the drill bit, I think this was Eric talking about this, when the drill bit would touch whatever was impenetrable under the mesa, and it would apparently repeat that 33 megahertz radio beacon signal from the drill head. It would like repeat it, but at different frequencies, across the spectrum, and you'd get like 8 signals repeated back to you when the drill bit would touch it, and then
let me see if I understood this correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they had a guy up above the drill bit that had a receiver that would keep track of where the drill bit was, because the drill bit would send out a specific frequency,
right,
and that receiver, you would move it until the signal strength was as strong as it could get, and then that would tell you, okay, I'm right above the drill bit. And then when they would touch whatever that thing was in there that they couldn't move past, then it would spike, not at the 33, or I thought it was 333, but maybe just 33. It would spike at 8 different frequencies.
Yes, but not at the receiver.
Not at the receiver.
because
This was-
that's tuned to the 33 megahertz signal.
Oh yeah, it can only see
Yeah.
that. So
It was
Travis was somewhere else with the
down on the ground
Kraken?
with a spectrum analyzer.
spectrum
going.
analyzer.
Yeah, and so he had it centered on that 33 meg, and then it would, you'd see signal spikes across the spectrum that he was looking at the time, and there was like 8 of them.
Is that shown in the show? What those frequencies are?
It was, yeah. You could extrapolate from.
Okay, I would
look
like
at
to
his-
look at that because I want to know: is the original 33 megahertz one of those frequencies?
Yeah, and I don't remember.
Like, is this a overtone type harmonic resonance?
Well, harmonics are fractions though. Like it's not linear.
You're right, not harmonics. I mean overtones.
I spaced out a minute. What were you asking about the 33 megahertz?
When they touch the thing and it like shows 8 different spikes instead of just the 33.
Yeah.
Was the 33 one of those spikes? One of those 8 spikes still?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Like
I
when
can't
you ring a
remember either.
bell.
I want to say yes,
When you
but
ring
I'm
a
not
bell,
positive.
you don't just get one frequency. You get a bunch
Yeah.
of overtones that create those overtones are all audible frequencies, but you don't really register them as the main frequency because they're not the main frequency. You hear the main frequency and those other frequencies just change what a lot of people will call the color of the instrument, or the technical term for musicians is the timbre. It's what makes a trumpet sound like a trumpet, a flute sound like a flute, a bell sound like a bell. They have different frequencies in their overtones. So I want to know, is this like that? Is this just some kind of weird resonance?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like it
But would
takes
be,
that frequency and then resonates in all these other frequencies that are somehow like an overtone type thing.
So I think of like a tuning fork.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, yeah, go on.
Well, I guess my point is okay. So, not a point. I'm not coming to a point here.
Okay.
I am not an expert.
What's your
There's
question?
no conclusion here. This is not a totally solved mystery
Holy crap.
segment. So, my thought is, it's a drill bit. It's not an analog wave. It's not a sound.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
not
right.
pressure wave.
Right.
It's a electromagnetic wave.
Right.
And so when you apply an electromagnetic wave to a resonator,
Uh-huh.
like an antenna, it'll send, you'll get an electromagnetic response through that medium.
Okay.
So you're not gonna create analog pressure waves from that, right? Because
Right.
it's not a transducer or whatever.
Yeah.
So what the heck?
Yeah.
So
I know.
what the heck?
Yeah, no, I know. Like,
Are there RF overtones? I don't
know,
think so.
I know. Like, if this was an overtone type thing somehow, an EM, an electromagnetic overtone, that would be something pretty new, I think. But also, so is a force field. What is that? How does it work?
Maybe it's electromagnetic overtones.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
We're getting somewhere.
Well, actually, shoot, guys, listeners, I'm sorry. This is a totally solved mystery.
All right. Here we go. Bring it home.
Oh man, I hope Travis is listening.
Holy
Electromagnetic overtone force field.
Holy crap, those 3 guys solved it.
Those 3 brothers don't know nothing.
All right, well, I'm going to bring it back to Bigfoot again, obviously. One of my favorite things, I mess up her name every time. Myreya?
Yeah.
Dr. Myreya?
No, Dr. Mayor.
Well,
Oh, you're using her first name?
Yeah.
Well, she
we're like that. She signed
he's
a
on
book
a-
for me.
He's on a doctor first name
Fair
basis,
enough.
not a doctor last
She
name
knows your
basis.
children's first name.
We
so-
talked a little bit,
Yeah.
First off,
What a great role model.
yes, that's what I was
She's
going to
pretty
say.
rad.
She's really cool.
Maybe one of you was thinking of doing a fistful of ballers about her, but I was also, so whoever
Stay
gets to
tuned.
it first, I guess.
I mean, it seems fitting for, the Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, Go
no,
for it.
No,
If you want to, by all means.
That
You've
means
got
I
a book
shouldn't-
about her now.
That means I shouldn't briefly touch on her life right now. Really cool experiences, and NFL cheerleader, leading primatologist, discovered new species. Okay, that's where we'll put that. So she, again, these people aren't crazy people going out there doing these crazy fringe science things. Like, she knows what the heck she is doing. And she takes her experience in the bush with gorillas, in Madagascar, discovering new lemurs, things like that. And that's what she's applying as she's going out on these excursions. Anyway,
Since people say this is a primate,
yes,
a
Bigfoot.
primatologist would be, pertinent.
Yes. Her value goes beyond just her experience and her knowledge. It's also her relationships. She's friends with Jane Goodall. And so on one of the episodes of their show, Expedition Bigfoot, she did a video call with Jane Goodall and kind of asked her some things, and they talked about stuff. And she just kind of wanted to get Jane's, a little bit of her opinion and thoughts on of Bigfoot, really, to help destigmatize it.
Right.
So Jane was saying she was down in Ecuador one time. She asked some of the guys down there that she works with who, do lots of excursions, I guess, out in the jungles, if they have ever seen a tailless primate that walks, that's bipedal.
Yeah.
And that's all she asked. She didn't go into any further details than that. So those guys who she worked with then went to local hunters and asked their local hunters about this. And they all basically said, yeah, we have. And it stands about 7 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Yeah, mostly for me that it's Jane Goodall saying this. And I can't remember what the other things that she said were, but she had other things to say about it. That something like, I think Mireille asked her something about what should we do about people thinking this is fake?
Isn't real science.
Yeah,
You're full of crap.
that we're just chasing a myth. And she basically,
Who gives a crap?
Jane responded, yeah, who gives a crap?
Who cares what they think?
And I just love that because we've talked about science and how we all love and support science and we try to think scientifically. But the scientific community has gone to such a weird space where, like, you can only ask the right questions nowadays. Like, if you ask the wrong question, you're just crazy. You're barking up the wrong tree and you're chasing weird things. But, like, that's the whole point of science. Science is questioning. Silencing people and telling them not to ask certain things, like, that's not how you get answers. That's not how you find new discoveries.
Which I found interesting was how they, the Ancient Aliens guys were showing their show was a way to try to encourage people to
think outside
ask
the box.
questions.
Yeah.
Posit theories, posit questions.
But it's okay to ask the weird question.
Yeah.
Yeah, good reminder, because I do think those guys are a little crazy.
Yeah. But they're raising questions, so it's better to ask and look into things than to just keep a closed mind.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I gotta
That's
find the
kinda
Book
what
of
they do.
Venus now. That's all I know.
Enoch.
Sorry,
Enoch.
yeah, Book of Enoch.
And Netatron.
Read about the Metatron.
Hey, careful.
What?
I'm just saying, careful. You just might want to be careful. We haven't read the book yet. You don't know.
Fair
you don't
enough.
want to blaspheme something.
What you're going to open up.
Right. Yes, right. Yeah, right.
Oh, and there were a couple really cool stories that came out of this for me too. Like, okay, so do you guys remember, trying to read my handwriting again.
Oh, no.
Never a good idea.
We're going to be here for a while. See, we're playing the role of Dragon now.
Cut.
Okay, yeah, again, Dragon from Skin...
Oh, shoot. I lost it.
Dragon from Skinwalker Ranch is hilarious. I think he was probably the single funniest person at the entire convention. Which, if you watch the show, man, he does not come off
Not
that
going
way.
to look very obvious that he's a funny guy. Yeah.
By the way, did you guys see that car as it was driving past us? The guy in the passenger seat looked out his window and then did a double and a triple take.
Yes, that's what Alex was hoping.
Yeah, he was like, wait, what?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here's the story I remember.
Okay,
I don't remember it. I wrote it down.
let's hear it.
Okay.
Okay, remember the story Travis told. He's in Huntsville.
Okay.
He just got the connection to the cameras on the ranch via his
Yes.
phone.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
And he's trying to show his kid.
Hey, son, you want to take
He's
a
trying to
look?
show his
I don't
kid
care,
like, hey, do you want to see the ranch right now?
Whatever.
No. Oh, well, fine. I'll look at it. He pulls up the video feed, and it's a lightning storm on his video feed. And so he calls up Eric, and Eric's like, I don't know. I'm not at the ranch. I'm somewhere else. And so I think Eric pulls into the live camera feeds, and he's seeing nothing. Or maybe he's
No.
Yeah, 'cause he's
was
not at the
there. He's
ranch.
like, no, we don't have any lightning at the ranch right now.
okay. Yeah, like no. And then making fun of Travis, like.
Yeah.
Do you even know what
Do you know
lightning
what
is,
lightning
Travis?
looks like?
The plasma physicist making fun of.
The rocket scientist.
Yeah. So then they get back together, I think, or Eric looks through the data.
they go to the timestamp.
Yeah, and they pull it up by
Yeah.
timestamp, and sure enough, they verify no lightning storm.
But
But then as they keep watching, like a few seconds or maybe a minute or two, what did they see?
I can't remember what it was that they saw.
Man, he said it so fast and didn't go into detail. He said something like on that exact camera feed, like seconds or a minute after that timestamp, they see this like black amorphous shadow shape come into like the field of view of the camera, morph into something completely else, and then like either dissipate or leave the frame. And just this really weird, anomalous event that they would never have picked out or seen or identified if it weren't for, the chain of events that he lays out. Like, one, the thought to show the cameras to his kid.
Right.
Two, to look at the cameras regardless, even though his child wasn't interested.
Right.
Three, making the phone call to Eric. And then four, the follow-up conversation,
And if he hadn't seen that lightning, he would have called.
Right.
Yeah.
And the lightning didn't even
And it
exist.
wasn't even real
Yep.
lightning.
It wasn't even real.
Oh, I remember the question that was being asked. He did not answer the question, really. Not really. Not directly, anyway. Someone asked if they had already heard that story somewhere, I'm not sure where, and asked if they thought what he was seeing was looking through a portal. That the lightning was actually maybe happening at a different time, and the portal was showing him something from a different time.
Yeah.
And he passed right over the portal idea.
Yeah.
and just
he
kinda
really
told the
doesn't
story.
deal with outrageous questions.
Yeah, he doesn't love that.
He just...
And we're back.
If this edit stitch was...
What?
Start over.
You start over.
If this stitching was horrible, it's because we had to change the battery in the GoPro. That's
And
it.
I moved
We're back.
everything. It's just a suction cup on the,
We're-
on the windshield. So
Is this Park City?
Yeah.
looks like maybe
outskirts
the
of Park
beginnings
City,
of it.
Just
Yeah.
out of it. Yeah. We're getting there soon.
We're approaching Park City, people.
Do we have light?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Dang it.
And a dome light for Josh. Oh no, the other way.
Wrong
There
way.
we go.
There it is.
Bet that's
Yeah, I was-
beautiful looking lighting.
I was saying I wish we had another suction cup for my GoPro, and that it was on the outside of Alex's window,
Looking
pointing towards us, so you could see the backdrop through my window. And
Yeah.
it's a great drive to Vernal and then back.
Yeah.
surprising.
Pretty.
I'm not a fan of summer in Utah,
It's so hot and dry.
but with the sunset and sunrise, it's still pretty nice.
Yeah.
Who would have thought 3 Oregon boys would find themselves driving in a Subaru down I-80?
To learn about Bigfoot.
Talking about
I mean,
Bigfoot.
well,
Bigfoot,
sound too out of line for
that
Oregonians.
Subaru tracks. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that
it's
all
checking
tracks.
all the boxes. The GoPro and microphones, though, that one's a little out there.
Were we in the middle of something, or is it new topic time?
It was
Very
new topic.
possible. How about ghosties?
I'm
go ahead, Alex.
slightly related to that. I was
Okay,
going to say, what's the nerdiest moment that you guys had during the convention,
Like
or just during the weekend?
personal nerd
Yeah,
moment?
your own personal nerdiness.
Oh.
I know what my nerdiest little
Not the
moment was, but
nerdiest thing we heard or saw someone do or
no,
say.
that makes you feel like A nerd.
Okay.
The biggest thing that makes you feel like a nerd
I'll
from
go
this
last.
weekend.
I got to think.
So I say this is related to ghosties, as Jacob put it, because during the paranormal panel, Ben, I can never remember his last name.
Hansen, I
Hansen.
think.
Okay. Ben Hansen was talking about doing
Ben
an
Hansen.
investigation on the Queen Mary in California, which was a paddle boat, I feel like.
I think it's I think
He
so.
didn't say, but I think that's
It's
what
a
it was.
big one though.
Yeah.
It's one of the most like active paranormal sites in the States.
Right. That's what he said.
If you're a paranormal investigator, like you've been there.
So he was talking about being a younger man at the time and telling his friend to go someplace he probably shouldn't have.
They weren't. Yeah, it was off limits to the public.
He's like, hey, just take this audio recorder, and go into that closet and see what if you get anything. So he does, and they're like, oh crap, a guard's coming, quick, get out. And so later, listening to it, he says that they heard a voice close up to the mic say, please leave me alone, in a female voice. And he made the joke that that's not the first or last time that his friends ever heard a woman say that to him. But what made this a super nerdy moment for me was that I immediately had a question for him. Why do you say that the voice was close to the microphone? I wanted to ask him that. I never did find a moment to do that. But my question was essentially trying to get as much unprompted detail and information out of him about what audible identifiers he heard that made him say it was close to the microphone. Was it just volume, or did it have the proximity effect, which I will now demonstrate?
Sorry.
As you listen to my voice, listen to the low frequency increase as the microphone is getting closer to my mouth. And now you hear lots of low frequency in my voice.
We promise he did not add that in post.
Yeah. So the proximity effect is a known thing with directional microphones, whereas the microphone is closer to the source, you get more of the natural lower frequencies being produced by the source. And I wanted to know, did he say that because he could hear that it was sounding a little bassier than maybe it should have? Because if so, this is a phenomenon created by physical sound waves. The waves moving through the air and hitting the diaphragm of the microphone. It cannot happen without that happening with a directional microphone specifically. Yeah, I want to know, like, if it's the proximity effect, then somehow ghosts are able to produce physical sound waves moving through the air that affect a microphone, and it's not just like some electromagnetic manipulation of the recording, like their voices somehow just interact with the wires connected to the microphone, and that's how the signal moves down. Like, I don't know what paranormal investigators of this sort believe these recordings are. Like, what type of phenomenon or physical event is causing these recordings to happen. So that was my big nerdy moment. Wanted to ask that very weird, specific question.
Mine is lame because I couldn't think of anything else in this period of time. Mostly just like recognizing people.
I know you.
But like the sheer number of people that I recognized, and a small percentage I didn't know why I recognized them. I'm like, I know I've seen you before, but I don't know why. But then the volume that I did recognize, and I would call them like minor characters in the show or something. Like, oh, I know those guys, and oh, I remember him, and that was it, really. Because
what about talking with Jay Stratton, his wife and son?
Yeah, true. That was. I wish I had real time.
Yeah, sure.
To talk, and get into the deep things.
Right.
But yeah, that was true. That was a nerd moment, I guess. Yeah, the oh my gosh moment.
I'm starstruck by Jay Stratton.
Yeah, good point.
Guess
Okay,
that's
yeah,
you, Jay.
I know mine because I'm coming home with some merch,
Right.
I guess. PGF, Patterson Gimlin film.
Hmm.
It is the classic, most famous Bigfoot footage. If you've seen Bigfoot film, it's this. It's the Patterson Gimlin film. Okay.
Probably, yeah.
There's that classic frame. Oh, sorry. The Bigfoot has been named Patty. That's her name. Why? Because Patterson, Patty, and
Meaning
she's a female.
Yeah, this very specific individual, not that
Yes.
the species Bigfoot has been named Patty.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
The specific individual they caught on footage is a female Bigfoot. Go watch it again and look more closely, and you'll figure it out yourself why. So Patty. It's a famous frame from the footage. It's like frame 348, 349, something like that, where she like looks back at them. Just kind of stares for just a moment,
Doesn't stop walking.
turns her head back, and just keeps walking as if she's just out in the park. Like, didn't hesitate, didn't pause. Anyway, classic. That's what, like, any Bigfoot logo, sticker, printed t-shirt, Bigfoot's in a pose, it's framed off of this image of Patty. So, Bob Gimlin was, one of the two in the duo, Patterson and Gimlin, who caught this film. Russ had copies, like high-resolution prints. It was pretty big, too. That's like, I don't know, 12 by 18-inch prints that Bob Gimlin himself signed.
The last one.
He's like, these are the last signed prints we're going to have. His wife said he's done after this. Like, he's not going to be signing anymore. He's 93 years
he's
old.
93 years old
Yeah.
now.
So I bought one. I had to buy one. I had to. That frame signed by Bob Gimlin. I'm like, you know what? Treat yourself. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It is cool. It's surprisingly clean looking print.
It's nice, right? I mean, it is high res.
Stymied, actually.
Which is, crazy because the film itself isn't
I know.
high res.
Well,
I mean, it was
I
filmed,
won't get
so
into it.
I mean, you can say that it was
the resolution
digitally
is like the number of
improved.
grains on the film.
There's a
I don't
podcast you can listen to about it.
I mean, that film's been like new, like stabilized with newer technology, like motion tracking technologies and stuff.
And I
To
imagine
get rid of the camera shake.
so the very original film itself is lost. They don't know where it ended up,
Perfect.
but they do have copies.
Mhm.
So it's a little silly saying original copy,
Sure.
but I do think Bob has the original copy. So like if he's helping produce these prints, he's going to have the best source material to get the best images out of it. And Bill Munns, he's done a lot with that film with the PGF. I think he may have had access to the digitized version of Bob's copy. Anyway, see, nerd.
Can I talk about a fanboy moment?
That's pretty nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Pete Kelsey. Such a cool guy. And I think, we've talked earlier about how he went and did LiDAR scanning and recreated the Gimlin film.
Bluff Creek in California, where they filmed Patty.
And help do some pretty high quality analysis on distances and measurements and height on the subject of the film. And so he's like been in the
done that
Bigfoot
too,
world.
man. He's done everything.
Then you see him associated with the ranch doing a ton of different like slam scanning and
Drone as a sensor platform type work.
which is his go-to is I guess he's like an expert in the drone based LiDAR. But then what was that Expedition Bigfoot
Yeah, they brought him
season
back there.
teaser,
I think it's in this upcoming season 5 on Discovery Channel.
and it's Pete Kelsey, and
Yes.
he's working with them too.
Yeah, I was stoked to see that. That
like-
was cool.
Man, that is awesome.
What a life.
No kidding.
because he's like, a legit industry expert in this, and now he's just getting all these History, Discovery Channel, what have
Every
you,
TV channel wants him now.
shows that like we all care about and we enjoy the Bigfoot stuff, the alien stuff, and he's in it. I thought that was really cool when I saw him in that season teaser. I'm like, oh yes, more Pete, just because he wants to get after it, and when you get crazy returns of data, at least at the ranch,
Mm-hmm.
he does whatever he can to figure out why the data is doing what it's doing, and oftentimes, obviously he gets really irritated when there is no obvious answer. Like it's not.
Sure.
He's like, I contacted the software people and they tell me that the software is fine, and
Yeah.
he'll make calls to the hardware suppliers and the software suppliers. And anyway, that was kind of a fun fan moment. You're like, oh, they got Pete.
And that was cool. We did that. Just reminded me of something else. I mean, we got a few sneak peek kind of stuff, not outright. It was more like someone asked a question. Have you ever thought about doing X?
Yeah.
And then the response is, stay tuned for the next season.
Right. I thought that kind of question would have to be kind of annoying to them, but maybe not every one of those types of questions would be nice. But Eric said something to the effect of, if someone's thought of something that we haven't, we want to know. We want to hear about it. Like we want to test everything and think of everything that we can. I was like, okay, cool. That's cool.
Good perspective again.
Yeah. So I had a couple of questions of that nature, like, what about this? Have you tried that? What about this? So I think I'm going to use my free trial of the Skinwalker Ranch Insider to, I don't know. After Josh's experience with the Insider boards, I don't know if I want to.
I would say read only, maybe. Read only for a while until you get the lay of the land.
It's annoying how message boards end up developing their own very specific rules and culture. Like, just chill out, everybody. Jeez
online
Louise.
anonymity. Also, you can be as big of a jerk back to people as you want.
It's true.
Speaking of Skinwalker Ranch, one more story that we got more details on. I had always been wanting and hoping more information would come out.
I already know which one you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Travis Taylor's radiation at the cistern back behind Homestead 2.
Homestead 2 cistern, yeah.
So someone had asked him how he was doing, and he just went into more detail that I thought was super interesting. He said he had developed. So basically, he's what is it? Fate favors the bold.
Fortune
favors the bold.
Mm-hmm.
Fate favors nobody. Fortune favors the bold. So he goes back. He's behind Homestead 2. They've got their gamma detectors, and he ends up just going down and opening up that cistern lid and kind of leaning over the hole there, and the gamma detector just goes off.
But only his.
So it has to be like super localized detection. And he was saying if the gamma source were in the cistern, that it would have radiated out and beyond, and like everyone's detectors in the area vicinity would have gone off.
I think what he specifically said was what made the most sense to him is like maybe it was like a radon gas emitting the gamma rays, because it does. And if it was radon gas, then it would have expanded because gases expand to fill the volume of their container. Science.
Yeah, but still.
And then, all of their detectors would have been hit because it just would have spread out to all of them. And
but only his did. So he, what did he do? He ends up going back to his trailer.
Tells a PA to get him some beer.
Go get me some beer so I can hydrate, so I can flush my system to get whatever.
Not the best way to do it, but whatever, man.
Yeah. flush it. Also, bag my clothes so we can test the clothes and shower to get all the particles off. And it was over 30 minutes, and his detector, he still had his detector in the room with him, and the detector was still like showing elevated levels.
But then at some point after the shower, it just stopped.
Yeah. And what I thought was really intriguing was he said he developed at the time, I think it was like 1 or 2 or 3 days afterwards, sometime after the event, he developed circular burn marks on his body. And the location of the burn marks was really interesting. It was like on his foot, on his knee, on his hand, and on his head.
I don't remember the
Forehead.
burn marks being circular. I thought that was the from that book.
Yeah,
that
they
you
were
read.
circular.
They were circular.
Yeah.
Huh.
And he said it would have made a perfect alignment with how he leaned over the cistern. You know, he was down
Like through his head, down through a knee, down to his foot.
and he
Like
put
a
his
V.
hand on his knee. So through his hand to his
right.
knee,
Yeah.
to his foot. And so it's like, dang, those details didn't make it into the show.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, the amount of detail he shared was really interesting.
Yeah, so there's all this like extraneous information and magnifying information out there that you just don't quite get in the show.
Yeah.
That I think is incredibly, like, that's way more palatable and for a logical, rational thinker,
right,
to then see all this other information that corroborates what's been seen. But whatever, doesn't make for good TV, I guess, when you only get so many minutes to show months and months and months of film time.
Maybe.
Well, there's some stat I heard in an interview somewhere. Again, it's probably one of the members of the Skinwalker Ranch team giving an interview to someone. Maybe a Brandon Fugel interview. The general rule of thumb is like 8 hours of film time is 1 minute of screen time. So you have to be they have to be really selective in what they show.
Yeah.
Was it that was also the very specific energy level of gamma ray that was only created or is known to be created by an electron and a positron hitting each other? Yeah. Okay. It was like 511
kilo electron volts.
Kilo electron volts. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild. And I don't understand any of that. So
I think he called it an interesting coincidence for now. Because like they don't have any proof that it was a matter-antimatter collision causing it.
Right.
And then what does that mean? And then it just shoots out a highly directionalized, channelized
why it would be
ray?
a laser
that
beam.
localized.
That's pretty flippin' weird. Because it would have had to be like a lot of particles. Sorry, not particles. What?
Don't know.
Photons? Yeah, EM radiation is photons at different frequencies, right?
Electromagnetic radiation?
Yeah.
Photons?
They're all photons, right?
So I didn't take AP physics in high school. I took regular physics. And that was for one semester, which I really failed myself on that because I think physics is extremely interesting. But I did things like environmental science and, what have you.
Well, whatever it was, it would need to be a more than just. Gosh dang it! I have to think of it as photons. It would have to be a lot of those photons to create that kind of a burn too. Like it's not the chance of it being a random thing where all of these photons are
Don't do it, Jacob.
moving in a very specific beam to cause that amount of burning. It had to have been controlled to get all of those photons to go into a circle like that. I'm not totally sure what I'm trying to say anymore.
Why would
But if it was just a bunch of random collisions, those photons would be spreading out and moving in weird random directions. They would not be made into a column.
Perfect beam.
Yeah. Without something making them do that.
Yeah, it has to be directionalized. I did like the very first panel we had when they got into the Enoch Book 3 stuff.
Right.
Oh shoot! I forgot what I was going to say. I lost it.
This
It's
is
late.
Dead Sea Scrolls
No
stuff, right? Isn't the Book of Enoch?
Apocrypha.
Well, yeah,
Or-
they're not. It's not apocryphal. It's Gnostic text, I think.
Oh,
Um,
I thought they mentioned the Dead Sea Scrolls. I don't know anymore. I'm getting real tired.
Yep. Nope. I lost it. I had a train of thought. It left the station without me. But regardless, clearly, as the more heavily cited alien brother, my favorite part of the entire convention was all of the Skinwalker stuff, Skinwalker Ranch things. But, I mean, ideally, if I could do it again, I'd go for the full week, the full convention, and I'd go into some of these side panels.
The add-on type things?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely the add-ons, too. I mean,
Oh, okay.
maybe not just
Oh,
force
stay in the
myself to
ballrooms the
stay
whole
in the
time.
main.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
James Keenan stuff.
Maybe that's
and-
where all the interesting, here's all my data stuff happens. I don't know. We didn't do it.
And Josh missed Pete Kelsey,
Boo.
so you would want to try to catch him next time.
And we missed George Knapp tonight
Yes.
because we did our UTV tour. I think it ended right when George Knapp's session started, right? He was like 5 to
Yeah.
6:30.
Dang
Yeah.
it.
He would have been another great one, obviously, to have
Yeah.
listened to. Yeah, bummer.
Well, Buttons, I have to doubt that you actually listen to our podcast regularly in any way, but hopefully you'll be there next year. It would be really cool to see you at PhenomeCon.
We'll
You
have a sticker for you.
You could be a speaker at PhenomeCon.
Who's this we're talking about?
Buttons.
Oh, Buttons. Yeah, I would be there, and I would wrangle people into your room.
Nah, they wouldn't need to be wrangled. Everybody
be
knows
great.
Buttons. Well, we need to end on a laugh. Ew, gross.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang it, that's what I was gonna do.
Oh shoot. Do it. You're gonna do it better.
Thank you.
For being our brother.
Wow, did
That
we
might be
just
too
nail that?
energetic though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay. For being our brother.
The first one was too energetic.
Gotcha. Production of this podcast is done by Alex Stewart.
With music by Jared Poff and Alex Stewart.
For show notes, rockin' merch, and other brother goodness, check out our website at anotherbrotherpodcast.com.
Be sure to come back next week.
And tell your friends so they too can become a
Brother over here, brother over there.